Hey everyone, this is Different Spectrums Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Nazir Zerka. Go by Dr. Naz, licensed clinical therapist, social worker, group therapist, public speaker, and all that other crazy shit. I am humbly and excited to bring you onto the podcast to listen to us. We've got tons of pods. You can go back and look at our catalog with tons of beautiful guests, awesome guests, intelligent guests, magnificent people. Go check those out. But moving forward, I will be your host and only host, and really excited to bring you a new era of more personable, more self-help, more things to educate and bring to life the characters, movies, and shows in which we were originally supposed to do. So much appreciation for you guys following, listening, paying attention. Please like, share, so we can spread the word, so folks like me that are very authentic can get more clicks, likes, and just more people to listen and hear. I also want to bring attention to the intro, all the resources that we have in the link tree. Please go check those out. Remember, tons of free worksheets for you, friends, other therapists. There's assessments for ADHD, autism, anxiety. There's couples related stuff. There's coloring related stuff. It's all free. And plus I have a massive list of athletes, for those of you that love sports, of folks that have mental health related issues that have been collecting that. It's over 60 pages long. And I've been doing it for about 6 or 7 years now. So much appreciation, much love. And thank you for rocking with me. Enjoy the show, enjoy our guest, or just enjoy me running my mouth about whatever we're talking about today. Much love, y'all. And remember to take care of yourselves. And if you don't, we'll get you there. We'll get you there, homie. Peace.
Officer Hobbs, despite my best efforts to avoid it, I like you. But this need to overdo it made both of you a headline today. And it reflects badly on me, on the department, and frankly, on any bunny hoping to follow in your footsteps. Not every case is going to save the world.
Knock, knock. Hi. You know, this sounds a lot like just a you guys conversation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead.
Is there a reason why you don't take anything seriously?
Jokes are a classic defense mechanism for someone with a traumatic childhood.
Would you like a traumatic adulthood?
I would not.
I allowed you to work together because you did this city a great service. But today, you messed it all up. And now, some are questioning whether you should have been partners in the first place.
Sir.
So, instead of chasing imaginary reptiles, I am pulling you from the field.
What?
And giving you a new assignment reserved for special teams like yourselves. Fail at this, and I will have no choice but to split you up. There will be no more Hops and Wild. But if you're as good as you think you are, this is your moment to shine.
Welcome to Partners in Crisis, a workshop for duos heading for disaster. I am your therapy animal, Dr. Fuzzbee, and you are here because mismatched pairings often need a little more work to make them work. Greg, we talked about that. What are we making Merlin? Uncomfortable. Yes. And Francine, Clark may be a mouse, but he is your partner first. And we have 2 new partners. Can you tell us about your journey to Dysfunction Junction?
Well, we've been official partners for 1 week. Happy anniversary. And we are not dysfunctional at all, actually. Functioning fine, better than fine. And we did sort of save the city, so us being here kind of seems like a huge misunderstanding.
Notice how she answered first, did not allow her partner to speak, seems to be in a state of denial and taps her foot when she's suppressing discomfort. And observe the source of her discomfort, represented by the disconnected affectation of her emotionally insecure partner. But with hard work, they'll be on the same page by year 2.
Huh?
But for now, let's begin by greeting our teammate. Who'd like to go first? Thank you, Joel. Okay, unfortunately, Karen has chosen to see Joel's smile as a sign of aggression. Hackles down, Karen. Karen, hackles down. Joel, the safe word is coconut.
I was trying to get to
he
you.
told me that you were.
I'll help your friend.
Okay, I don't care that we're different. You know, what I care about is you. I care about you. Okay? And I didn't say it. I should have said it, but I didn't because, well, because I am an emotionally insecure source of your discomfort, who is not good at expressing his feelings. Probably because I've been on my own my whole life. It's not an excuse. It's why instead of telling you that you're the best thing that ever happened to me, I make jokes about your ears and I tell you that you try too hard when, you know, the truth is I just don't want you to get hurt because no one else in the world matters more to me than you do.
I do try too hard because deep down I'm afraid that I am what everyone thinks I am, and I suppress my discomfort because I'm worried it makes me look weak and I want to be strong and I think I'm failing all the time, and I only take what you say personally because you're the only one in my life who ever believed in me, even when I don't even believe in myself. And I should have told you that. No one else in the world matters to me more than you do either.
I have unresolved childhood trauma that I refuse to discuss because being vulnerable scares me.
I make dangerous choices because I have an unhealthy bunny hero complex.
And I didn't join the ZPD because I wanted to be a cop. I joined because I always wanted to be part of a pack. And the thought of losing you scares me because you're my pack.
I should never have left you, and I do need a herd of therapy animals, and I should have told you that you are the only partner I would ever want because you're my fluffle. That's a bunch of rabbits.
Whew. Now that is what we call an overshare. I'm alive, by the way. I made it. Oh, also that guy's still alive.
Hello. We're back. We're doing it. It's the thing. First episode. Zootopia 2. We're doing Zootopia 2, y'all. We're talking about fucking animals. Well, wait a minute. We're not talking about that. We're talking about animals. Jeez. I can't never say shit right. I hate my life. But yeah, we're talking about animals. But we're talking about mental health. We're talking about trauma. We're talking about anxiety. We're talking about this thing called PTSD, whatever the hell that is. And we're talking about the way it affects us, the way it maneuvers through us, the way it manifests through our bodies. As you just seen in the clips, because I'm always a little bit different format now that we're doing with everything in the podcast. I'm going to do the intro, bing, bang, boom. You're going to watch the clip, and then we're going to go right into this thing that I'm doing right now. As you saw in the clips, there's a bunch of different things. It's 3 scenes in total, and I think there's a lot to learn about those scenes. And so for those of you that are wanting to know kind of what we're going to do, like I said, PTSD, how it affects us. We're also going to talk about some neurodivergencies, and I think both the characters are divergent in their own way, encoded like many of my clients. And so we're going to go through that and like show on how that represents a lot of folks that are autistic, ADHD, anxious, OCD, paranoid, perfectionistic, super depressed, super avoidant, hypermasculine, more feminine roles, girl jobs. It's one of my clients always says, "Naz, I'm tired of doing a damn girl jobs." Jesus Christ, girl. She's going to kill her partner. She's not going to do that. She's not doing that. And so I think this we're going to get into today. So, in saying that, let's jump right into some bitch. We got the first scene, which we look at, right? And so we're looking at both the characters, at the bunny and the fox. God damn it, I should know their names. Those of you who know the names, write the comments down. I did not pay attention to the goddamn names. I should have. Going bunny and fox. Obviously, this is the second iteration of the movie. It's a whole thing where he's a fox, he's a piece of shit, supposedly. And it's being very racial on what's going on with him and other things in the world. And they are trying to save the town, right? And no one believes in him. He's just not that good of a person, blah, blah, blah. There's a bunch of other racial stuff that's in that movie as well, too. Now, this one jumps forward, and without giving away too much, the same different type of thing. It's racial stereotyping, or I would say economic classes, and a lot about kind of capitalism and the grossness of it and the colonization of certain places. Yes, just use the word colonization. Just lost all the unwoke white people on that comment. Should say the word feminism next. Yeah, lose the rest of them. So no more dudes watching after this point, I would assume. It'll be all right, losers. So you know, I can be a dude and also hate us. I'm a self-hating dude. Sounded like something else. I definitely dislike them too, for different reasons. So we are going to talk about like this movie and how this colonization, this stealing people's ideas, stole a woman's idea, then took it for their own. Just saying. Sounds like a thing that we do a lot in the world. So a lot of girlies will second that. And it follows a story between them two trying to save the town once again, but multiple towns, and figure out who the fuck is like the curator of like all this stuff, and how people besmirch a lot of people and rewrite history. And it's a lot of truth in a lot of this stuff. I don't think people really are probably looking that deep into this stuff, but if you think about it, this is the way of the world. The winners or the survivors, I would say the homicidal, genocidal maniacs, end up getting to rewrite all the storybooks. And so in there, you will see that certain people take credit for changing the world or making certain worlds, towns, whatever. And so we're not really getting into that. We could. I'm going to say that there are different podcasts for someone who's much smarter than me to break all that shit down. What we're going to do is what I know. My role. Drama, therapy. As someone who's deeply traumatized. If you didn't watch the last couple fucking pods, I'm working through some shit. We get into this first scene where they are now getting the repercussions for everything that they've done, and like this new thing that's going on. So they're already kind of like on probation, the bunny and the fox. And oh shit, is one of them named Hobbs? I need to look this shit up, man. And so now they're in trouble because they just like caused a bunch of like harm and like buildings, cop cars, all this shit's destroyed. And I wanted to bring attention to her. In that very first scene, you can see her talking to the boss. And I think I'm pretty sure it's Eldridge Jelba. I'll check on that later. But you see the physical pain in which she's in because she is in trouble. And she is very perfectionistic. She is very organized, very strategic, very motivated, and very much wanting to prove everyone that she is good, that she is worthy of love, attention, admiration, that she's highly intelligent, highly capable. And so it pushes her, and it pushes her. And you see this throughout the movie, and it pushes her, which is fantastic. But when she messes up, or when she now gets in trouble because she's pushing too hard and like things go bad, you can see that shame coursing through her. I think that a lot of my girlies, my dudes as well too, but a lot of my girlies will go through that when you see like this shock and the horrific feeling of the nervous system shut down, and then her wanting to like beg her way out of it, but you can't. You've already messed up. It's too late. The repercussions are happening. I'm going to get in more on that in a second. And then you see the fox. You see homeboy like, it's fine. It's chill. It's okay. He's used to being in trouble. He's used to being a fuck up. He's used to people throwing him away. So he's just kind of vibing with shit, man. It is what it is. He's just happy to be there. He's just there for the vibes. Those of you that are Marvel Rivals fans, I'm just there for the vibes. Playing Black Widow, there for the vibes. And so you see the difference in the two. You see maybe her trauma or motivators, things in life, the neurodivergencies, the insecurities, maybe the training, maybe the girl jobs, maybe the socio-political things which are coursing through her to be the best, to be compressed and pressurized to perform. And then you see the dude, the neurodivergent dude who maybe has some issues, ADHD as well too. Not saying she doesn't. Some trauma in there, some maybe feeling worthless or useless, maybe some behavior related issues, maybe some trauma, some poverty, some stuff that makes you a little different, a little more fun. Not saying she doesn't. There's a lot of girlies that have his presentation as well too. And he just doesn't care. It's kind of like this passive like suicidality that courses through you. Doesn't fucking matter. It is what it is. It's always shit. I'm just rolling with the punches. I'm just here. So you see the two, right? She's a little bit more type A, high strung, perfectionistic, super bubbly, wants, has hope. Those of you like the Wednesday show, it's like the one character and then you got Wednesday. He would be more the Wednesday vibes. She's just a little bit more fevery, a little bit more con artisty, a little bit more street. Is what it is. Not saying that a lot of folks are street that act that way, just saying. So you get the two juxtapositions, right? And then you get the yin and yang of those two throughout the entire thing. Fast forward, I don't know if they're fucking dating. I thought they were just really good friends, like brother-sister vibes, but like now it sounds like they love each other. Yes, they can love each other platonically, but it also has like a romantic vibe. But I can't tell if it's a platonic vibe, romantic vibe. Will they, won't they? I kind of liked it where they were just like kind of sibling love. Right? I don't think we need to make everything super sexual. I don't know if it was. I know there's a lot of stories out there about the bad guys in this movie and like the fucking woman in there, the mayor being also like their like offspring and child, even though this is a Disney and that shit's like a different shit. Like it's different like animated companies. I have no idea. I guess there's a lot of crazy stuff on the internet. I'm not getting into that. Too much autism in that shit. That's a joke. But if you break down her personality, and I know a majority of our podcast is girlies that listen to us. Me. Us is me now. Gotta get used to that. Fucking love that. Narcissism? No. I'm just tired of carrying a chud around. Lazy sack of shit around. For those of you that heard that, I'm sorry. I'm really not. And so we see her personality. We see the distaste and disgust that she had failed. And I feel like a lot of my clients have that misery, whether in school, whether it's their occupation, whether it's they want to show their family member, their parent, their guardian, their loved one when they're very young. Like, look at this thing I did. Look at this amazing thing that I brought you. As you guys know, I'm doing a shit ton of 3D printing. So I'm making a bunch of lightsabers now. I'm holding this upside down. Don't judge me. This is Mace Windu's lightsaber. I've made like 20 different versions of other sabers. And you want to show them, look at this awesome thing that I've done. You want them to be happy. You want them to be proud. You want them to be excited. You want to be seen, noticed, heard, validated, recognized, affirmed. You want to be the prettiest girl in the room in that moment with your loved one, your parent. Because they're supposed to be happy for you. And you just want to be a big kid and have that joy when your parent looks at you like, yeah. I have a lot of girlies that start off bubbly like that. A lot of boys too, but a lot of my girlies will start off bubbly like that, but then the criticism comes in. Then the critiquing comes in. Then the too loud, you too much, you ask too many questions. You need to be more quiet. You need to be seen, not heard. You need to make yourself smaller, which is a lot of my young women are taught. Intentionally or unintentionally, verbally or non-verbally, overtly, subtly. And we see a lot of personalities, which are very lovely, bubbly, hopeful personalities, shrink. Some of that drives them to depression. Some of that drives them to perfectionism. Some of that drives folks to, I will get it done because I want your love and I will prove that I am worthy of your love. Some of the parents are neglectful. And so it's hard for the kid to get the love. Some of the parents are I, me, my, and they will never give the kid the love because the parents really don't give a fuck about the kid. Some of them are addicted. Some of them got their own traumas, so it's hard to love because they never really got that love, and so it's just hard to replicate it. So you just do your best, and the parents will be like, you're lucky. And you're just a kid. You don't understand what that means. You just know that things aren't good and you're crying or you're lonely. But you're lucky. You're like, why? Because it's not as bad as I had it. Okay. So that's what we call generational trauma, y'all, just in case you didn't know. I'm sure many of you have been through it. And so that shit gets passed down and down and down. And what we get is a lot of people that are very shy, very avoidant. They're not really happy or proud of like the things that they do. And as my girlie said today, I can't rest. Why not? I need to be productive. Okay, so playing the video game isn't productive. Well, I say, can't you just take some rest? You already got all your work done, but I should be reading because that's better. I'm like, okay, but better how? Well, it just makes me more rounded, makes me more intelligent, more eloquent. It's just better for my mind. Yes, I agree. Can't you do both? well, I should spend less time doing that because I should be much more productive. And I said, what are you trying to prove to everyone or anyone? What are you proving and to who? Well, I need to be the smartest one in the room. Are you? I like to be. I need to be the prettiest one in the room. Are you? Crickets. They are gorgeous. But always judging yourself and then taking it into your relationship, always trying to prove, always being anxious that they may not love you or they may leave you, or if they don't text you back, you're immediately tweaking out. Why? Because that shit's already been implanted in you from when you were a little Nina, little girl. Oh boy. Hard to break those shackles. Hard to break those demons that course through you. You don't even know that they're there. They're like shadows. They're there, but you never really see them. You never pay attention to them. Why am I spending so much time on this? Because you see it in the subtle expressions, the pain, the trauma, the hatred for herself, for her partner. And then you see the other boy who's already given up. It's already gone. Reminds me a lot of black and brown little boys. Technically, this statistic is true for all black and brown folks, doesn't matter the gender, that mentally we drop out in 4th and 5th grade. You're like, what do you mean they're still graduating? Well, we graduate at a very low clip, but it's showing that we stop participating and actively learning. When you equivalate everything for poverty, so you bring white people down, other races down, everyone's at the same poverty level, we still are dropping out at the 4th and 5th grade mentally. We've already given up. We already know there's no hope. One of the biggest markers in success is showing that we have a teacher that looks like us. So if it's a black or brown teacher, astronomically skyrockets. A lot of women that are teaching. If you have a brown dude, black dude in there around some brown and black boys, astronomically skyrockets. 40% more likely. These are old statistics. Could be different now. 40% more likely to finish school and go to college. If someone like me just exists in the room. Why do I say this? I've been that fox my entire life. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Make jokes, make jokes, make jokes. Leads us into the next part of the scene. He goes, well, making all these jokes, is someone with a traumatic childhood, it's a defense mechanism. And it's like, that's even a joke. Him talking about his trauma is a joke. We might as well make a fucking joke. Why? Otherwise you're crying. A lot of my clients make jokes. I make a ton of jokes. It's a more masculine related thing, but the girlies do it too. I know a lot of people aren't comfortable with like dark humor. Some autistics really aren't. Some other folks aren't. But there's a lot of folks that do like dark humor, especially fucked up ones like me. And we will make the suicidal jokes with each other. And maybe you don't like that shit. That's completely fine. It's up to you. But some of us who's like, been suicidal as shit, been depressed as fuck, and had attempts, like I think it is what it is. I think that's part of your crew and your clique. Maybe it's grotesque. I mean, if you ain't fucking laughing, you're crying. And so it's hilarious to me and my clients are like, we'll tease around with some of that stuff. And I'm like, all right, lock the fuck in. No, how you doing? Is it passive? Is what's going on? No, like, no, Nas, I'm chilling. I'm like, okay. Why do I bring this up? That humor stuff can like save you for a long time. I've got some clients that we are the clowns. I've said this in the other podcast before to the other boys. We like to be clowns, the court gestures. Why? A lot of us are deeply traumatized because our family household was fucked up. And you are making everyone calm and chill because it diffuses situations. If it diffuses situations, then you know that you're safer and most likely people won't tweak out. Or there won't be a big argument. Mom won't get kicked in the head. Sorry if that's traumatic. Deeply sorry. Some of this is going to be very traumatic. Dad won't get kicked in the head. Maybe they won't split up. Maybe your siblings won't fight. Maybe someone's not going to abuse you if you make sure that they're like happy and fine. Maybe there's some addiction issues in the family. Who knows? Maybe you're autistic and you know that if you make jokes or make yourself the butt of the joke that they won't bully you anymore because you're already making the joke. It's like some old Eminem shit back in the day. If I say the shit first, you can't say it. You can't hurt me. And so many folks like me get this persona, this swag, this personality of making jokes. Talking shit, having fun, saying weird stuff. Maybe the ADHD, the autism kicks in and you say wild comments. People laugh. You don't even know why they laugh. but you continue to say wild comments, and then you're getting like this attention, but also like it's kind of like funny and subtle. And so you just develop by watching hypervigilantly and getting this algorithmic data on what makes people laugh. And so that you end up parroting the same jokes over and over and over, the same micro expressions over and over and over. And you develop this personality that is now the court jester, the clown that gets brought in to appease the king and the queen. But it protects you. But also now everyone sees you as the fool. And some of us end up buying into them. We think that we're stupid. A lot of the boys end up buying to it, think that they're stupid, because they're now worried about being the clown and appeasing everyone that they're not doing their schoolwork, because everyone says that they're stupid, but they're not stupid. They're actually highly intelligent. Why are they intelligent, Nazir? Dr. Nas. I love using my full name these days. Because it takes a very intelligent person to be that hypervigilant to understand what's going on in the room and diffuse it with humor. So him, highly intelligent, probably deeply traumatized, but is it from family issues? Is it from bullying issues? Is it from him being different? Is it poverty related things? Like, who fucking knows what it is? And maybe he's talked about in the other movie and I just redacted it. But many of us play the fool, but we are very wise. But a wise person can play the fool because we always know who we are. Sometimes it gets lost in translation. But the fool can never be a wise actual person. What does that mean? Some of us are fools. Some of y'all ain't that smart. And it's fine. Make sure you know who you are, though. And if you want to become wise, I think wisdom is gained through experiences, trauma, and other things. There's learned. That is the correct word. Someone tried to like fight me on this. I'm like, go look that shit up, motherfucker. I know what I'm talking about. You know you talking about why? Cause I'm black? Bitch, I'm Arab Mexican. But like I say that because they think I'm stupid because the way I talk or carry myself. It is learned. And they're book read. And they have a high IQ and they're intelligent, but like there's some things which you get wisdom. And that's through going through shit. That's learning and learning the hard way. But being the clown. I see a lot of my boys that fall into that trap, right, of the stupidity, the locker room talk and other things. But I see some of my girlies do it too. And I got a bunch of girlies that literally just giggle the entire time while we're talking about traumatic shit because their nervous system doesn't know what to do and they can't really talk and they get overwhelmed. And so they just laugh and they kind of laugh and cry. So they kind of look like fucking demonic at the same time. I'm like, what's going on? You fucking snorting, you're crying, the snot going everywhere, you're like choking. I'm like, this is a fucking exorcism? Where's my holy water at? That's just soda. That was me flicking it at him. Splat. Oh, damn, that bitch melted. Yes, you did. So, I love having fun just talking to myself. It's fantastic. It's like autism's, I was going to say wet dream. I'm sorry. Oh, my God. I'm already canceled. So, many of my girlies go through it as well too, but you see usually the personality is a little bit shifted. I love the way they represent the bunny, which then translates us or transitions us into the next scene where they technically have to go to couples therapy, but it's like partner therapy. And I think it's hilarious. The very first part, you see this cop pairing where the one is just like picking and eating. I'm pretty sure that's what that animal does. And they're picking and eating, I think, the buggies out of the person's like fur. And I was like, bro, that reminds me of like the partners that love picking at the pimples and like the ingrown hairs on the other person. And I always feel like that's definitely like an autistic thing where you just, or ADHD, you just dig it in there and you're watching the pimple popper shows and shit like that. And you're just getting in there at the little bit of the nubbies. I felt that was very ADHD or autistic coded. Just watching them do that. I don't know, maybe that shit was cultural. That's definitely animal in that thing, but whatever. I thought that was funny. I'm sure some of you will relate to that, whether you enjoy people picking and digging in on you. I don't have any hair, but I definitely got lots of ingrown hairs and pimples. I know my mom used to do that shit all the time, and some of my partners too. I'm like, what are you doing in there? Like, I gotta get this blackhead out. I'm like, oh, this shit squirts you in the fucking eye. And you get pink eye from it, you sumbitch. It'll be a staph infection. from digging in there. That one's been there for 3 years. One's got a face. Jamal. Call him Jamal. Real shit. PSA. Make sure you go to the dermatologist if you guys find any weird stuff. I finally asked the dermatologist after like 4 years of forgetting. Hey, man, this fucking thing gonna kill me? He's like, what are you talking about? Lift up my shirt. These like 3 moles. I feel like this one always gets bigger and he gets angry at me when I like touch it. He's like, no, you're good. He's like, okay, I just want to make sure. I've been tweaking out thinking I'm getting fucking cancer from this shit. Well, technically I had a cancer scare, but that was from something else. Everything's fine. So we see the next scene when they're in this couple's therapy. The therapist definitely sounds like a white woman, which most therapists are. It's not even racial. It just is what it is. It's facts. And she's being all nice and stuff, but very actually strict and like on par with everything. So I love the rules of it. And I love how she fucking breaks them down immediately in that couples therapy, which everyone's in there. It's like group couples therapy. So why did I put that scene in there? Specifically because the way she like attacks them is fucking fantastic. You see that the bunny is highly anxious, but also to the point, very like on their shit, blah, 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 blah. And they start talking immediately and they talk really fast. The bunny wants to say everything. They have a lot to say. I feel like it's a lot of my neurodivergent girlies. They have a lot of things to say. They don't have a lot of time to say it. There's like a rush to get things out. People don't listen to women. Maybe there's a bigger family. Maybe there's dudes in the family and they just have to get it all out. Why? Because they're not sure if they have enough time and they have to give you a shit ton of details because what if they explain it wrong? So they're going to over explain it and give you too many details. That way you understand, but they also know that it takes a lot of words and thus they will speak faster. That's what that felt like to me. Also reminds me a lot of the moms that I work with. So my clients' moms will like show up and they'll just be the yappers, man. The dad just be sitting there just like, you know, just dumb as shit. I'm like, you got any thoughts? And they're like, no, she said it all. I'm like, you ain't got no thoughts? No, she good. Oh, okay. You want some Legos? I'm just having fun looking at my own faces now. And you see the moms just talking so much sometimes. And you see how like intense they are and like how involved they are and overwhelming they are sometimes. I'm like, girl, you neurodivergent as shit, my guy. And like I'll diagnose the kid autistic and they'll be like, yeah, dad's autistic because he's just chilling. He's vibing. Right? He's kind of, you know, in and out mentally. He's not really there. I'm like, I think mom's autistic as shit too, man. Why do I bring this up? Because I feel like 1 and 2 always equals 3. Huh? I feel like chill neurotype always kind of gets with the high strung neurotype. And I see that with almost all of my couples. Doesn't matter what gender, but it's usually dudes being a little bit more lax and then my girlies being a little bit more hardwired, meaning a little bit more anxious, a little bit more obsessive, a little bit more neurotic. Not always true. Got a lot of dudes that are coded like that as well too. I feel like normally they fall in like the level 2 instead of the level 1 autism spectrum. And so we see this here too. Let's say that they're a couple. I feel like she's the autistic mom and he could be coded as the autistic dad or the ADHD dad. Obviously, shit ton of trauma in there that we talked about as well too. He feels much more neurotypical as we move on into some bigger talks. She also feels very neurotypical and as we talk about some other talks in the last scene. But also trauma does rewire the brain, thus makes the neural connections different, thus makes that individual very neurodivergent. I feel like he has ADHD with the way he talks, just the ideas, the sarcasm, the humor, how quick-witted he is. I feel like your mind has to be working on a certain plane, certain level. Variance? Frequency? Frequency. That's a word. Don't know how to spell it. That's a word. To vibe like him. I don't think frequency is what I was looking for. Altitude. That's another word. It's a good word. Yeah. So, the therapist cuts in immediately and says, well, did you all notice that? She talked first. She didn't let him talk at all. She's actually fidgeting. She's kind of intense and she's tapping her leg like incessantly. Interesting on how she like saw all the physical symptoms of like her anxiety and then how she showed up. So the nonverbals and the verbals, how fast she was talking, how intentful she was talking, and also being the first one to talk. Maybe that's because he's like an idiot and a buffoon and the girlie just has to show up and she needs to do the talking because she's more eloquent and all that shit. But maybe also you cuckolded the guy and enabled the guy to never show up at all. And then you wonder why the girly or her or anyone that resembles that identity is fucking burned out in the relationship and marriage because you're having to do all the lifting. That sounds like me on the podcast. Having to do all of it. All the time. And pay for everything. Oh, and have to use my credentials to get guests. But we're not really going to get into that. But I'm a petty bitch, so fuck it. I feel like I know where she's coming from, and I feel like a lot of individuals will relate to her, that vibe of having the other partner that's a little bit more lackadaisical or not buying in and not contributing enough. And then the therapist is like, well, yeah, look at his ass. He's just chilling. He's vibing. But you can tell he's like deeply insecure. Oh, where did we get that insecure for one from? So I feel like both of the individuals are insecure. Her shows up as much more, I'm going to perform for you. His is showing what's more like, I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. I don't care. Avoidant personality, but also I don't care. Kind of a little nihilistic-y, but more so if I don't try and I fail, it doesn't matter because I didn't fucking try. Where she's like, pause. Where a lot of people, they don't want to try because they don't want to actually find out that they are fucking terrible. So he just gives up. He quits before you can fire him. Where she is like gonna get shit done. And she's going to be highly successful. And I love her. And all my girlies that show up in her identity love that shit. But I'm terrified that they're going to get stuck with a lot of like very insecure, kind of narcissistic, maybe a little bit usy, but like, oh, he regulates me. Does he? Or he just shows you the attention and does a few things, the bare bones minimum, and then you accept it. So I always want to make sure that the dude is contributing what he needs to be contributing and that you're not accepting it because you're people pleasing all the fucking time because of shit that you've been through with your family, parents, and friends. And so when you finally get a semblance of a healthy relationship, you think it's fantastic, but in actuality, it isn't up to par where it should be. And you're overperforming in the relationship and the marriage. You're overperforming in all your relationships at work. And then what do you get when you overperform? What do you get? You get more work. You get more responsibilities. You don't normally get more respect, and you normally don't get more money. Also, closed mouths don't get fed. So I teach and I push all the girlies that work with me to go get their money, to go get their respect, to demand it. Demand it. As I advise all of you. And myself. Very difficult to do, to demand things. To set the boundaries. So I feel like that was a good way to break those up. You know what I'm saying? To like check out two individuals. What do I got? I feel like I got everything from that scene. Yeah. Talks fast. Oh, I think the one funny scene is we look at the next couple that goes up to do like some role playing and then the one starts choking the shit out of the other one. I feel like it's a lot of couples I work with. And she says, well, they definitely took the smile as a sign of aggression. I'm like, holy shit. That's a sign of aggression? I'm not fucking smiling at anyone, my autistic ass. Lesson learned. And then transitions us to the last scene, which is a deeply emotional, vulnerable scene. Spoiler. She saves his life, but he also saves her life. So it's like a whole fucking like tussle thing. It's like hella intense. Gotta love it. And they have this vulnerable moment in which they're expressing to each other. He bites the bullet first on how much he loves her and how much he wants to protect her and be with her as a partner, not as a romantic thing. But I can't really read into the lines of that, and I haven't really looked too much. Maybe they get married. I don't fucking know. But how like she is the brightest part of his day. And the only reason why he took this job was to be closer to her, because he also wants to like help her grow, but he wants to protect her, and he just really enjoys it because she is the only person that ever fucking tried, that ever saw anything good about him, and maybe his entire life. She didn't give up. She's positive. She's a ray of light. She's like the fucking sun, just ever burning. Even though I'm sure she's exhausted, she's ever burning. Full of joy, trying to prove everyone wrong. And she sees something good in him where everyone thinks that he's trash. And so he gets really attracted to that, whether it's platonic or romantic, because it feels good for someone to see you. But since he says that he's deeply traumatized in the next second, and he makes all the jokes as a defense mechanism because it's scared to be vulnerable, is because whenever people, doesn't matter what gender, are vulnerable and it's shut down, or it's made fun of, it's bullied, you're a bitch, you're a pussy, you're a loser, you're worthless, you're weird, you're awkward, no one wants to hear about your crying, your suicidality, your anxiety, you're making it up. That's for white people. That's what a lot of us say in our culture, right? That's not for you. Those are privilege problems. Nothing's wrong with you. Pray it away. When people tell you these things, when you hear these things, society plays these things. You see it on Instagram. Everyone's happy and gorgeous and rich. And you start setting in that you're not enough. You get into delinquency like he did, like I did, being expelled in the 2nd grade, being a rotten kid, depressed, ADHD, autistic, and wanted attention, and was swearing because people were teaching me to swear and they laughed. And your bad behavior gets you attention. And your father's incarcerated, and I was bad before he was incarcerated, but I was worse afterwards. And your mother's working, and your brother's autistic and really can't support you in the ways you need, and he's also just a kid as well too. And so you start shit, and you're highly intelligent. And so you understand the work, and then you just want to goof off because you already get the work. And so you have the ability to goof off, and that's what you do. But then you get in trouble. Then you get labeled the bad kid. Then people look at you bad. They look at you like you're terrible. And then it sets in. You're terrible. Then you get shipped off to behavior modification school. You really don't even know why. But it's pretty much a prison. And you sit in these closets and these cubicles, and you don't interact with anyone. And it's very cold and sterile. And you slowly get more and more like free time or responsibilities away from the cubicle or desk or the wall that you were forced to stare at. You've already kind of given up that you're worthless. But eventually you get some teachers that see you. And eventually you may be smart enough to figure out the system, this like prison system, and then you kind of get out of it. But many boys don't. Many boys maybe aren't even as lucky as me to go to this fucking shit-ass behavior mod school where I did get some isolated attention. Not saying that it was good, but got me out of Gen Pop. Got me probably some of the services I need. Why I bring this up? I understand both of their personalities, but his is like deeply congruent with mine. And it just feels hurtful to know that someone has probably so much brightness, so much joy. You know, earlier I was talking to someone, a client, and they were at the park. And they're at a park, chilling, vibing, they got their headphones in, and you can hear children playing and people talking. It's really hard for them to lock in because they're distracted, but it helped them regulate and all this other stuff, talking to me. It was what it was. It ended up being a really good session. And then I went to the park later today, and I went for a walk with a client, and we were just talking. And then, we sat down in the park and we're vibing. And you get grounded into like some of this stuff. Why did I tell this? Because you get grounded in this stuff, and you get to see, because I had this thing that stuck in my mind. I saw this black woman, and I saw her gorgeous little black daughter. And, she got the little braids, and she's got the little things in her hair, and she's just skipping. And when I saw her skipping, I was just like so happy. I don't know why I feel like crying. Just nice to see how happy kids are. And I thought to myself, I hope she's really happy. I hope she's not dealing with a lot of shit or trauma or poverty. Or then you get worried about when she finally realizes, more when she's older, because she was a small kid. Like she's black, or like you're brown in the world. And it becomes scary and dangerous. Then I thought about her getting older as a woman and the stuff she'll have to face. It's just intense to know what people will have to face. Yeah, it's intense. So I was just really happy when I saw her, because I saw her just skipping. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. But their joy gets like blown out for a lot of us. The candles get blown out. Things happen. Traumas happen. Stuff sets in. I've already talked about it. And you lose that innocence, and then your personality changes, which is really sad. I feel like that's what happened to him. What happened to her as well too, but he's probably a really, 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 really good dude, and you start to see it come out, but you make all the jokes and you push people away and you push people away. Why? Because you quit on them before they quit on you. You quit on them before they quit on you. If you never gain them, you never lose them. And it's crazy too, because you finally get some people that show some attention, and that little bit of love he gets from her. So it's an old quote from Guardians of the Galaxy, because that little bit of love you get, boy, lets you know how empty you are inside. That's why you push everyone away. That's why you do all this dumb shit. That's why you say all this wild shit. Because as soon as someone gets close, you feel it. And it's scary. Because anytime you love, it almost guarantees pain. Anytime you reach for the stars, it almost guarantees failure. The end of it. So that John Bellion has a song with Luke Combs called Why? Why love anything? Why? It's difficult to love things. It can cause so much pain, so much damage. He wrote the song for his children. I've been saying that to a few clients. A lot of my people that, very anxious, very self-sabotaging relationships. Why love anything? I believe that the only true thing that actually helps us heal is love. Love and intimacy with other people. And so now we transition into her, where she says that she is trying to impress everyone, and she is working really hard, and she is trying to prove something, and she's talking really fast because she wants to get it all out. And that she's afraid to be rejected, and that she has a bunny complex. So maybe like bunnies are like cool as shit. I don't know. Maybe they're highly intelligent. I don't know. But she has like this complex. So maybe her family gave her that complex. Maybe her people give her that complex. Maybe it's her gender. Maybe it's like the complexes that we give a lot of folks that are supposed to be like the good minority. So like a lot of Asian folks, maybe that they're a affluent white family. And so it's this bunny complex. I thought of like a Karen. She feels like a white lady in this one. A Karen complex. Or like a over-caring like white woman that wants to save everyone. It's like, calm down, girl. Like, you're not the fucking savior. So maybe she has that complex of that's who she needs to be, and that's ingrained in her head. And that's awesome. Maybe that's the dream. But also make sure that you understand what that is. She does, but she also allows it to get in the way of things, which can be dangerous. So I thought that was like really cool for them to point out. And then she starts getting more emotional about how much she cares for him and how much she likes him, because he grounds her. He makes her a little bit more calm, a little bit more chill. That maybe she does need a herd of like bunnies. I thought a lot of my neurodivergent clients with all their teddy bears, including me, or all my nerdy shit, like you just need them. You need them. It's like very regulatory to have them. And so maybe she needs all these fucking emotional support animals, aka the stuffed animals, or regular ones. And then she says, like, you are my pack. He's never had a pack. So to say that to him is very deep, very emotional for him, but also for her. Because now you're admitting the emotional vulnerability, the love, the care, that I need you, I enjoy being with you, I am a better person with you. And so now that's scary. Because what if they reject it? What if they don't want it? What if they tell you that you don't mean as much to them? What if you're rejected just like the other people that you loved that were supposed to protect you and care for you end up rejecting you? And so that's why it's hard to open up. And that's why I feel like she's continuously trying to prove herself. And I feel like many of you are as well too. Me as well. And so then she says, you are my fluffle. Fluffle? Yes. Where it's like a herd of bunnies. So the intimacy is what heals them both, but they have to go through the trials and tribulations to trust each other. But then again, they can't fully be vulnerable or real with each other, but they're allowing their traumas, the things that have affected them throughout life, that have molded them, to pervert the way that they walk through the world and how they connect with each other and other people. So this is why people go to therapy. I don't think everyone needs to go to therapy. Some of us can't afford it. Some of us have people already mentoring us, guiding us, tutoring us. Some of us, neurodivergent asses, are already doing a million introspective fucking things a day. And so we already know all the nooks and crannies. And therapy is fantastic, but maybe that is not for you. But if you can afford it and you're privileged enough to do it, oh, fucking give it a shot. Oh, maybe you're worried about finding the wrong person or the right person. Well, yeah, it's tough sometimes. And you'll try out a couple and you kind of see how it goes and you'll feel the vibe and you'll do little phone calls and you'll check the reviews and you just kind of figure it out. Kind of like speed dating. You just kind of figure shit out and then see if it sticks and then you go from there. The biggest thing I want people to pay attention to, like when they're picking a therapist or doctor or anyone, is do they listen? Are they paying attention? Do they remember the stuff? And they're not just mind fucking numbingly like nodding. Do they remember things? Do they remember your name, major, occupation, friends, certain picadillos about you? How they're nonverbals? Do you need them? A lot of folks do. It depends. Remember, the first session is always you talking a shit ton. The therapist is kind of just taking in information. It's always how it is. So don't judge it after the first session. I would always say give it 3. Try to give it 3. So again, intimacy. I'm getting away from the therapy talk. I think that's the biggest thing that I liked about this. As you see them building it and the trust, you also see the kind of distrust and the hurt and the pain that kind of happens between the two of them, and then how they work their ways back to each other. And that's why they have this emotional climax at the end. But I see her very much coded as like one of my autistic girlies. I feel her much coded as like an obsessive compulsive disorder. And maybe they're not like checking and this and that, but I feel like a lot of ruminations, hypervigilant as well too. And so I feel like their compulsion is the obsession, is the overthinking. So they may not have the pure OCD, but I feel the compulsions like coming through her and needing things in a certain way. And I feel like that causes her nervous system to deregulate. So it feels very autistic coded to me. He feels like he could be that as well too, but very much more on the ADHD side and then like the PTSD side. So I think it's a really good breakdown in that. Hopefully that you two can see those things and you can use this film to go back and rewatch and then kind of analyze yourself through their personalities and through their relationships. And then do your best to untangle those things with yourself or with your therapist or talk to your friends. For those of you that are dudes, talk to your homies. But hey man, you fucking see this clip that this bald-headed fucking idiot talked about? I'm like, what bald-headed dude? You send him my fucking video. And you see this bunny like using this as a defense mechanism, or the fox using this because he's like traumatized. He's like, yeah man, it's funny. Yeah, you can talk about these things. You can share these reels and things with folks. I would advise you to talk to other people about this, specifically those 3 scenes. If you want to talk about the movie in general, you know, colonizing and all that shit, you can do that too. In a genocide, because that's what they're doing, ethnic fucking cleansing of this entire population. Sounds a lot like what they're doing in Palestine, just taking over the entire fucking place and calling it theirs. Oh, interesting. So, things to pay attention to. I thought it was a fantastic movie. I can't wait to get to a ton more movies now that I have like the control of the pod. There's a lot of things that I want to get into. I think next I do want to talk about some stuff from Anaconda. There is a million other things. There's a Dolph Maul series that I want to get to. There's the One Piece that I want to get to. There's some movies and shows that my friends and clients have recommended. So I want to get to all my clients' recommendations. So I'm going to get to that. Plus I got to get back to Shrinking from Apple TV, Severance. I want to do some Abbott Elementary stuff. We got a lot of shit to get to, y'all. I'm really excited. And now I want to go back and do some old school, like, you know, cartoons I used to watch. I want to do a little bit of fucking Rock Power, a little bit of Rugrats. Have some fun with that. And then I got a bunch of guests that are waiting. I can't wait to talk to all the girlies and bring them back. And I can't wait to have some of the dudes. A lot of returning guests, a lot of new guests. Really excited to talk to the Bob Burgers podcast. It's pretty huge. And like, just keep it rocking and rolling. So this is kind of the breakdown. I'm trying to help y'all heal through these characters to see the nuances. Do your best to understand that you don't have to repeat the cycles and the generational traumas. You can be more. You can be bigger. You can be louder. You can be magnificently more than what you were trained or destined to be because of where or who you grew up with. Find the safe pockets. Demand respect if you can, specifically in the professional setting. Find mentorship if you can find it in those settings. Doesn't matter what group it is, LGBTQ folks, if it's women, if it's dudes, if it's folks of color, find it. If you need a therapist that represents some of those identities to help push you through those nuances, do it. Allow yourselves to be vulnerable. I know that's terrifying to fucking say, but otherwise you're just stuck in your room listening to my dumb ass. And I will chat with y'all, vibe with y'all until I can't do these pods anymore. But I'll do my best to continue cranking those out. Again, much appreciation and love for paying attention to me, the good cohort of folks that are still vibing and rocking with me, fucking with it. Hopefully this is beneficial. I got some other stuff I wanted to talk about, personal stuff. I'm going to hold that for the next pod. This one actually went longer than what I thought it would. So, in that, remember the resources that we have, the therapists that we have suggested in the link tree. Remember all the worksheets that I have. Remember all that stuff is free. The worksheets, the assessments, it's all free. Check it all out. Use the stuff. Do your thing. Much love and appreciation. This is Different Spectrums Podcast. I'm Dr. Nas, licensed clinical therapist, doctor in social work. Take care of yourselves. And if you don't, that's okay. We'll get you there one day, homie. Peace.
Tell me what you